Today was one of those days where, even as an Apple fanboy, I have no shame in admitting that. I love Apple. I mean, I'm not, closed off from the competition. I like using everything. But in my opinion, Apple is far ahead of the competition in regards to today's announcements. So let's talk about them. What up, guys? How you doing today? My name is David Franco from daviddefran.co. That is my personal website if you want to learn more about me, especially when I used to make more videos before COVID. Yes, I got COVID, like about a month ago. It sucks. Trust me, you don't want it. And you hear this horrible voice? This is part of the aftermath of recovering from COVID. Now, thankfully, I'm not alone. There are other people who are experiencing the same voice problems. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that, but in an odd way, it's kind of nice knowing I'm not alone in suffering through this, especially as a full-time content creator. It's not fun. Trust me, it's not fun. There are so many videos I want to make, from Apple-related videos to my Tesla videos. There's so much content that I want to create, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to be a little patient, and hopefully you guys are patient with me. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Okay, so today was an insane day. Apple announced so many things. They did not announce the number one thing I wanted, and that's the new Mac Mini with M1X. Now it's, M1 Pro or M1 Max. I'll talk about that more soon. So yeah, unfortunately, I will not be ordering a Mac Mini today. But with that said, sometime throughout the next week or two, I could be ordering the brand new MacBook Pro. So let's zoom out here and show my desktop. Okay, so as I've done in recent months, my typical recap, usually consists of doing screen captures rather than just sitting down in my chair and talking to a camera. I think this is more interesting. So as you can see right here, I have my notes. I'm going to throw them over here on my vertical monitor and just reference them as I go. So let's go full screen. And first up today, the intro that they rolled out, in regards to actually introducing the keynote, the event. It's not really a keynote, it's more of an event. Was absolutely phenomenal. When they booted up the iMac G3 to closing the Airpods case and just making music out of classic and modern Apple-related sound effects, I thought that was incredible. That was incredibly creative, and I want to see more of that from Apple. So, I don't know whose idea that was, but well done. I loved it. All right, so the next thing... Whoa, hold on. I just realized this. Check it out, zoom in. This used to say TV. Now it says TV and Home, and they have a new section called Only on Apple. Huh. That's actually really interesting. Pretty cool. Anyway, enough of that said. We'll talk about TV and Home and Only in Apple another day. So let's start out with music. Let's go to, I guess that would be TV and Home. Yeah, there used to be a music category, right? Am I wrong? And HomePod Mini, they did announce new HomePod Minis. Not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's literally just new colors and new, voice commands. So nothing like radically new. Obviously, there's only so much you can do with the HomePod Mini right now. But I gotta say, out of all the colors, I definitely like blue and red the most. Yellow is absolutely disgusting. I think it's ugly. I would rather chop my own foot off than put this thing into my house, just saying. But space gray I love. White I love. Blue is beautiful. It's kind of like a navy blue. And orange. This is actually kind of nice. But, yeah, this yellow? Nah, not for me. Okay, so let's get to the more exciting stuff. AirPods. Whoa, hold on. Oh. AirPods now have their own tab. Check that out. Wow, they actually changed the website quite a bit. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here are AirPods 3, or AirPods 3rd generation, as Apple officially refers to them. So according to my notes, I'm going to reference over here, we do have spatial audio support, which is huge. Because with me being a huge audio guy, I'm kind of ashamed to say that I still have the 1st generation AirPods. So I haven't really experienced Apple's take on spatial audio yet. So yes, I will be buying these. Or maybe even the AirPods Pro, because as far as I'm concerned, the AirPods 3 are $179, correct? And if we get an AirPods Pro, I think they're $249? Let me see. I'm pretty sure they're $249. Yeah. So see, part of me thinks the AirPods Pro is just a better deal. I'm not sure. Because I would really like to have noise canceling and the transparency mode, which the AirPods 3 do not support. Obviously, there's got to be some kind of difference between, a pro product and a non-pro product. But as far as I can tell, like AirPods 3, they look like an incredible deal. I mean, for $179, you're getting spatial audio. Apparently, you're getting better, more powerful bass, sweat and water resistance, which is always good, adaptive EQ, 6 hours of listening time, 30 hours of listening with a charging case, MagSafe and wireless charging support, which is cool. That's something I don't have on the AirPods first generation. And again, for $179, you can order today and have them next week. So pretty cool. Now I just got to decide, AirPods 3 or AirPods Pro. Which one would you prefer and why? Let me know in the comments. Seriously, I'm going to read your comments. Let me know. Let's have a discussion. And well, who knows? Perhaps you'll convince me in which one I should buy. I'm probably going to go for the Pro because I'm an all-out kind of guy. But we'll see. Okay, so the second, I shouldn't even say second half. It's more like the second 2/3 of the event was completely dedicated to the MacBook Pro and not one, but two new chip architectures. We got the M1 Pro and the M1 Max. I don't think anyone really expected two chip architectures announcements today. But still, that's a really, really, really nice surprise. So let's go to the MacBook Pro, which was completely redesigned from the ground up. And first of all, let's scroll down to this display. I got something to say. Okay, let's go back up to the top. For some reason, they're not showing the notch in a lot of the graphics, but right here, guys, zoom in, okay? I like the notch. I'm so used to the notch on my iPhone that it honestly doesn't bother me. I mean, guys, if it means getting a larger display and thinner bezels, then I'm all for it. I'm completely all for it because if they did keep the bezels and a better camera, then, well, honestly, it wouldn't be possible to pull off what they wanted to pull off. That's thinner bezels and a larger display. So you got to make a sacrifice somewhere, You got to make a sacrifice somewhere. Now, unfortunately, got to be honest, even with the notch, I got to say my biggest disappointment by far is the fact that we don't have Face ID support. That's actually really, really surprising. I thought for sure that we would get Face ID support, but it is what it is. It is what it is. At least we got a redesigned keyboard. The touch bar is gone, which, in my opinion, is a smart move. I've wanted a MacBook Pro for a long time, like a newer one, because I still have a 2015 model. And every time I looked at the touch bar, I just asked myself, how can I convince myself that the touch bar is something I actually want? Me personally, I would much rather have functional, mechanical, not truly mechanical, but you know what I mean, physical keys instead of a touch bar that I'll maybe use once or twice a week. So Apple, props. I got to give you props for going back to the old ways of doing things. Sometimes you got to admit, hey, we tried something, it didn't work out up to our expectations, and we're going back to the old ways. And speaking of the old ways, they're including more ports than ever, including the old-fashioned MagSafe. Now, granted, it's MagSafe 3, but they're going back to MagSafe instead of having to use USB-C or Thunderbolts. But even with that said, you can use Thunderbolts to charge your MacBook Pro. So yes, even if you don't have a MagSafe charger handy, you can still plug into Thunderbolts/USB-C to charge. That's really cool. So you have two different ways of charging your MacBook Pro. And I think that's really neat. We have HDMI, which is awesome. SD card, thank you. Guys, I use my SD card slide all the time on my Satechi riser on my iMac. So I can't imagine not using an SD card on a notebook. It's just so convenient. So convenient, especially without having to use an adapter. So I'm not going to go through like all the specs because, guys, M1 Pro and M1 Max are absolutely killing the competition. What I want to focus on is these brand new XDR displays. Yes, we have Liquid Retina XDR displays, ProMotion 120 hertz. Basically, think the iPad Pro display, but on a MacBook Pro. Oh, by the way, mini LEDs, guys. Mini freaking LEDs. This means we're going to get a very, very high contrast ratio. We're going to get super rich blacks without having the drawbacks of OLED. Like it's absolutely mind-boggling what Apple managed to get out of this MacBook Pro refresh line. It's absolutely crazy. And not only that, we're getting insane performance on top of insane battery life. This is where the M1 Pro and M1 Max and M1 in general outdoes the competition, at least in regards to Intel. It's incredible what they're pulling off. We're getting huge leaps in performance, huge leaps in battery life, and much, much better power consumption. I don't understand how anybody could complain about M1. I don't see any valid complaints about M1. It's absolutely incredible. Now, yeah, the notch, it's questionable. Again, I'll say it. I have no issues with the notch whatsoever. I think it's unique. I mean, honestly, guys, the notch is kind of like Apple's branding nowadays, at least on the iPhone. iPad, thankfully, it's not there because we have a thicker bezel to work with our fingertips, you know? But, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's bad. Now, if you do hate the notch, I understand. It's not for you. But honestly, when you're working on pro things like Final Cut Pro 10 and Photoshop like I do every single day, you're not going to be focusing on the notch. You're going to be focusing on the larger display. You're going to be focusing on the high contrast ratio thanks to the mini LEDs. You're going to be focusing on the XDR Pro Motion 120 Hz refresh rate. It's absolutely incredible what Apple is cramming in to these 14-inch and 16-inch notebooks. So with that said, I'm happy to announce today that there's a very, very, very good chance that I will be selling my 5K iMac. Yeah, I've only had it for a year. I'm going to miss this computer so much. But honestly, I feel like I'm years behind in regards to performance with this Intel Mac. It's time to say goodbye. So I'm so happy to say this. There's a good chance the 14-inch MacBook Pro will become my new daily driver. So yeah, I'm going to be using it as a desktop and notebook hybrid. I'm going to buy myself a nice stand where I can stand it vertically, which honestly would be used like that for 90 to 95% of the time. And for those moments where I do want to edit my vlogs on the go or edit in Photoshop on the go, like maybe on vacation or even in bed at my parents' house or wherever, I simply take it out of the dock, I unplug my two Thunderbolt displays, and I edit on the go. That is absolutely huge. And in theory, all the money I get for the iMac will help me instantly pay off a new highly spec'd, mid-spec'd 14-inch MacBook Pro.
It's 3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock. Thank you, Mr. Macintosh. So yeah, the 14-inch MacBook Pro, per my notes, starts at $1,999, $2,000. That's a lot of money, sure. That's a lot of money, not gonna lie. But I'll say it again. The money I'm getting from my iMac, I mean, guys, I paid about $2,800 for this computer. And thanks to Iliu's Pizza, it was pretty much instantly paid off with that sponsorship. Thank you, Iliu's Pizza. You guys are incredible. I'm so lucky to be in the position that I am. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I'd kind of be dumb to not sell my iMac, right? And no, I'm not going to ship it. This is going to be a local sale. Thankfully, I'm 20 minutes from the city. So there's got to be some kind of graphic designer, some kind of creative specialist or whatever, marketer, advertiser who needs something like an iMac, but they don't need an M1 powered iMac. They're perfectly fine with Intel. And guys, this 5K display is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it very much. But again, I have two Thunderbolt 4K displays. So power those displays with my MacBook Pro and that Liquid Retina XDR 120 Hz ProMotion display. I'm going to be in Apple heaven. So guys, I'm going to end my coverage there. I'm not going to talk about specs too much. This video is more about, explaining my plans in regards to what I want to buy. Okay, so with that said, I do have something very special arriving tomorrow. Many of you probably already know what it is. Yeah, let's just say I'm finally going to have an M1 powered device in my office. So stay tuned for that unboxing. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much for watching. What are your plans on the MacBook Pro? Are you getting one? 14-inch or 16-inch? And by the way, I'm sure the 16-inch MacBook Pro is a phenomenal device. I have no doubt in saying that. I'm just more of a small notebook user. For instance, I absolutely love my 11-inch MacBook from 2017. I use it almost every single day. And I have a 13-inch MacBook Pro, which I used to use all the time. It's from 2015. I'm just not a big fan of huge notebooks. Because for those instances, like I said, where I do have to edit on the go, I don't like a behemoth sitting in my lap. You know, I like 13-inch and 14-inch notebooks and even 11-inch notebooks the most. So that's just my take. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your plans. Are you buying AirPods 3? Are you buying the MacBook Pro? I'm buying both, most likely. Or maybe the AirPods Pro. I don't know. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're staying safe out there. Avoid COVID. Please avoid COVID. It sucks. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.